Myanmar's leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, has cancelled the first event of her election campaign, citing a worsening outbreak of COVID-19. The leader of the ruling National League for Democracy party had been due to tour her constituency in Yangon City tomorrow. Myanmar had gone weeks without a local coronavirus transmission until mid-August, when the western state of Rakhine reported an outbreak. And since then, the number of infections has more than doubled, with at least 1,460 cases to date. The country is scheduled to hold its general election on the 8th of November. Now, Wai Kit joins us now with the latest. Wai Kit, Myanmar's Health and Sports Ministry has released new rules on election campaigning. Tell us more about that.
Well, Glenda, one of the key rules is that now the authorities will allow up to 50 people to gather during the campaigning period. And this is up from the 30 maximum number of people that can gather in Yangon and other parts of Myanmar currently. Of course, on top of that, you'll have to wear masks when you're out. And instead of 1 meter of safe distancing, which the WHO recommends, Myanmar requires people to keep a distance of 2 meters. Earlier, you mentioned also that State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi cancelled one of her events on September 8. She's also gone on Facebook to urge her supporters to not gather outside, don't follow her when she makes public appearances. Instead, she asks her supporters to hang the National League for Democracy, or NLD, flag on their homes, front doors, as well as on their vehicles.
So, Wai Kit, with the coronavirus situation worsening there, how likely is that to prompt perhaps a stop to parties campaigning at all?
Well, Don, the COVID-19 has already affected the campaigning activities in Myanmar, because during this time in 2015 or even in 2010, the country is abuzz with rallies where people will go out, paint their faces with the national flag or the party flag that they support, bring their children out to listen to candidates. But this time, as far as we know, there are no political parties who have made rallying plans yet. Many of these parties, including the NLD, are bringing their campaigning online as well as door to door. They're going in small groups, using young volunteers to go from house to house, reach out to volunteers to spread the message. One key event we're looking at is in October, and that's to see whether or not COVID-19 has created a big enough impact for Myanmar to cancel elections in any part of the country. And if this does happen, bear in mind that this will not be new, because back in 2015 and back in 2010, there had been cancellations of elections in certain parts of the country due to safety and security reasons.
Wai Kit, you mentioned they're campaigning online. So what are some of the key issues among candidates?
Glenda, without a doubt, the key issues will revolve around COVID-19. If you put aside national policies or the 2015 election promises of bringing peace to the country or changing the constitution, at the end of the day, when the voter goes to the ballot box, he's going to think about his next meal, his job, his job security, as well as his family and his future. And all these aspects of that voter's life is impacted by COVID-19. I've spoken to many analysts in recent months, and many of them, in fact all of them whom I've spoken with, say that the NLD-led government has been doing a good job to handle the COVID-19 crisis in Myanmar, although there is now a second wave. Now, one thing that stood out for me is how the NLD-led government is reaching out to Myanmar citizens abroad and bringing them back home. Now, these are citizens who have lost their jobs overseas, and this is significant because in the previous government under then President U Thein Sein, this group of Myanmar citizens have so-called been neglected because they have not been heavily engaged. So people are going to watch these developments, but the question is, how much of these efforts by the NLD-led government would translate into votes?
Wai Kit, we'll continue watching those developments with you as you cover this. Leong Wai Kit there. Thank you very much, Wai Kit. Leong Wai Kit there with the latest on Myanmar's upcoming election campaigning.